Okay, so we're carrying on with our next video here. So we're gonna do Heritage Minutes, a Peacemaker. So Heritage Minutes, Peacemaker, you know, it can be about many things, but for this particular video, I'm gonna focus it on the story of being cloned. So you have the first one here, playing God, right? Where these guys have been ordered. I'm ordering you to resurrect your mother and I, which reminds me, I've given my blood, donated my blood. So if you're watching this reincarnated mother, you should go donate your blood somewhere that could be put on file. Because if this one happens here, it's going to be hard pressed to find our blood somewhere over here. But if that happens to that, yeah, those are all right. But so I think I'll go with I'll go to Life Labs. So go to Life Labs. Have them do some blood for you because they got a lab where they can, it's a Canada wide. So that that file should be, our DNA should be on the file somewhere in Canada. So go to Life Labs, have your blood taken out, get it tested for whatever genetic diseases or diabetes or something, and they'll have that DNA on record. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what you need to do, in case that happens there. Because if they come here to Southern Ontario and 100 million people just seem to disappear all of a sudden, well then they can use our DNA that's stored on file at, let's say, British Columbia or at Life Labs out there. So so these guys here, they can have our DNA. So death could be cheated. Children could recreate their dead parents. So the Peacemaker, at the end, he's going to say, "You're here, aren't you? Does the Great Peace still exist, Six Nations? Well, you're here, aren't you, Creator? We did what you said. We created a clone factory. You're the first two humans to ever be cloned, and you and Mom and Dad are back again. So you're here, aren't you?" It's coming from that perspective of the reason why there's peace throughout the universe and mankind is because somebody over here followed the Book of the Dead and did something dumb, getting rid of us, and then this company up here worked with the Six Nations, who are a nation by themselves, meaning a nation basis. So America or Canada can't tell Six Nations what to do because they're a sovereign nation. If they want to clone their mom and dad, they're perfectly within their rights to do that. And if they want, to do that here or do that in America, it's the same thing. And so that's what that refers to. So, and the story is about a group of chiefs waging war all the time. So that's metaphorical for mankind waging war. Let's just say if I'm successful, there won't be any more war here. It'll be gone. So let's just look at it from that perspective. So the tree, it's a symbolic gesture for me because that's one of my nicknames, the tree, through my cousin Adam Bacido. His grandmother, Dorothy Bacido, used to call us the trees because he was 6'4", I'm 6'7". So she would see us walking down the driveway into her driveway. She'd say, "Oh, here comes the tree." So at the end, you're going to see a tree there. It gets they throw in their war clubs into the uprooted tree, and then the tree goes up like that again. And the peace, they attain peace, which is metaphorical. For me, attaining peace here, I'm going to say through the People's Republic of Canada, all-female political campaign platform. Once you get all females in the power worldwide, there's not going to be a reason to fight anymore. So that's what that's also referring to, the Great Peace. But I want you to focus on that particular aspect and try to picture that in your mind. Your mom and dad, being taken out by third eye blind mice, so to say, who really can't. They have an alternative objective. So when we get out of the cloning facility, they say, "You're here, aren't you?" "Yeah, I'm here." "Yeah." So I want you to picture me being as like a little baby, because as a baby, my consciousness from my soul particle, my electron being put into a clone of myself as a 1-year-old baby, and the same with mother, we'd be able to walk as babies, because when you're a baby and you have to walk, that's a process that, because you're so young and you're starting out, you have to learn that. You'd have to learn how to talk. But because our soul has all of that consciousness, because that's what consciousness is, our souls, putting our souls into a baby of ourselves would allow us to walk at 1 year old, because we've already done that. We know how to do that. So you could see your mom and dad walking around as two babies. You could see us talking as two babies. So we'd be walking around, walking and talking as babies. We wouldn't be wearing diapers, man. We'd know how to go to the bathroom too. So we'd be dressed up, I'd be dressed in a suit and tie, and she'd be dressed however she wants to dress. So Baby Boss 2, family business. That's what that trailer's about. Subliminally, it's about, somebody dropping the ball here and doing one of these, getting rid of your mom and dad, and then, Six Nations is a grand, having to open up a clone factory, and this company here, I don't know what they were, these guys cloning your mom and dad, and within a year, whenever they can figure out how to do that, I'm only seeing two avenues for it. One is like splicing our DNA with an egg from somebody probably here in the community, like a family member, right? Like whoever's closest to our family genetic line, because the genetics there is already there. So that's a surrogate. That'd be like a surrogate egg to create two babies from the same genetic family bloodline. And then they could either put that egg into two separate people in our community, and those females would grow the creators again, or they could put those two eggs in other Anishinaabe, in case our community is not here because of that. Well, then they could pick a couple Anishinaabe from Wisconsin or somewhere where they're still out there, right? And those two females could walk around with the creators inside their tummies for 9 months. That's one way. Or they could do it through using like machinery. That's the other option, where they splice the egg and they grow it like how they grew I don't know. It had to be something futuristic, like you see on TV, like The Matrix, where they grow babies in a vat of liquid or something like that. Those are the only two options, but the first one seems more logical, because I think that's how they grew Dolly the sheep, I think. Don't quote me on it, though. So, when you watch this, that's what that's about. You want me to be a baby again? That's what the guy says. Then the other girl says, they're arguing, the two brothers are arguing, and then that girl stands up and tells them to be quiet. It's just, I'm in family business. So that's what, she can talk a lot. That's what the guy says. The reason why that baby can talk is because that's a metaphorical meaning for your mother. Waking up, coming, being able to talk right out of the womb, being able to walk and talk as soon as we get out of the womb. So when you watch that, that's what that's about. Family business, The business here is the Six Nations of the Grand, because we're Native Americans, so we're family, like we're blood, right? So the family business is a clone factory on Six Nations of the Grand territory to create two baby bosses, because somebody over here dropped the ball and didn't listen to me when I say don't do that, man. Because I'm trying to achieve universal peace here. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes here as I'm communicating with your superiors. So this is what did I say before? This is option number 2. If my peace talks don't work with your overlords, and they don't come here and bring my 29 UFOs as requested, and they release their smear campaign, their tape, whatever else they're going to do here, or they try to come here and impersonate somebody. What option do I have? Well, this is option number 2. So that's what Baby Boss 2 is about. Your mother and father being brought back to life through cloning, and us being able to walk and talk as babies. So I'm going to connect it to this here next. This here I'm going to do in 2 videos though. I'm going to try to do 2 separate videos on this one, because this is a subliminal meaning in this particular video here, connected to all of this. It ties it all together.